Ambedkar when he said that, well, I am giving you political equality, but at the end of the day, India has a social asymmetry, India has economic asymmetry. I don't know how this constitutional rights which is given to Indian people, how it will work on them. So from that perspective, from this personal experience, I am coming to you. You are an expert, a sociological expert, you have done research, and I want your insight on the entire process. Where do we stand as a citizen of India, a normal citizen of India?
As you have rightly pointed out that as you have rightly pointed out that this kind of thing, that whether the voting rights or the suffrage rights that we technically say. So this is more a constitutional rights that have been given by the Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution, Article 326, as well as the Representation Act 1951, they jointly have given this right. And one of the major mechanisms by which it has been passed and has been granted legal status is basically through passing it through both the houses of the parliament, having a 2/3 majority and being signed by the President of India, and it will become a law. Now, after it becoming a law, they have actually given the constitutional rights to a body, to an autonomous constitutional body, which is called the Election Commission. It has an autonomous constitutional right, and it has an all-pervading power, capacity to exert its influence, exert its authority on the people, without the people having any say to question what, without having people any free space to question what Election Commission is actually trying to exert. The problem lies there. In this particular phase, the problem lies because since it has been passed as a law and it has been enforced by a constitutional body called the Election Commission, and that Election Commission, which has been given the sole authority to decide on the electoral rolls, the standards of qualification and disqualification of being a voter, and these kind of things tend to change over time. Because as far as my memory goes, in 61st Amendment of Indian Constitution in 1988, the age of suffrage, adult suffrage, has been has reduced from age 21 to age 18 years. It has also been done through a kind of an amendment. But the thing is that since the Representation of People's Act and the Constitution Article 326 has given the sole authority to the actual Election Commission to have their say, to have their authority on people who are actually trying to vote, and they will have all the mechanisms in their hand or at their disposal to exert their influence on the people regarding the electoral rolls, regarding the voter ID cards, and they can exercise their power to any extent. So this is the all-pervading autonomy of the state via the Election Commission to exert its influence on the people. So this is a kind of surveillance, this is a kind of monitoring that a state actually tries to exert on its citizens. This is a kind of it's a kind of governmentality that Michel Foucault has once told or has once justified about its implication. It's a kind of governmentality that means the maneuvers, the techniques that a government actually uses in order to rule its citizens. Now, the question is whether our voting rights is a constitutional right or a fundamental right. That you have pointed out correctly, that it has been given a constitutional status, the voting rights. It has not been given.
Yes, just to interrupt you a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, there is what you say, that's an important thing, that election, if I have understood you properly, that the Constitution have given the Election Commission of India a right,
The sole authority.
sole authority from that Constitution itself, that Constitution body itself, to go and do anything and everything as far as electoral rule is concerned.
Election process is concerned
Election
in a
process.
larger sense.
Right. So, this is my, before I go to the other part, this is important to understand that the election itself in India is a large process,
Exactly.
huge process. And what the emphasis, what I understood is more of on executing that process rather than having the depth of participation on that process.
Participation of the citizens.
Participation of the citizen.
Common
And
participation.
When I run the process, nobody comes.
Yes.
Right now, I run a seminar, and my process is that I do the seminar in a beautiful way. I put everything as far as the construct is it requires. I food, everything arranged, and I don't take care of anything comes in the seminar or not.
So it's a top-down arrangement.
Absolutely.
It's a top-down arrangement.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. If I run the process, if I give the report, and I'm just giving an analogy. I will send the report that this is the thing I have done, and this is a seminar. All I have called, and it is not my business to get out the people there and to there. It's people comes and all that doesn't come, so it doesn't matter. So this is a kind of I don't care about the participation depth. I care just the process is executed or not.
And that too, Mr. Joyal, how the process is executed is the discipline behind the process, or the regulations behind the process. These are also framed by me. The way you will, the way I want, you will perform according to my wish. You will perform according to the regulation that I have set. So it's a game where the discipline has been, or the rule of the game has been set by me.
Right.
And you will always
even
abide.
Even if nobody comes on that, the process is complete.
Yes.
Process.
And it's a process in itself. It's a process in itself, and it has its own life, a life of its own, a kind of sui generis.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to put in an analogy where people understand. Suppose you do a seminar, and the seminar has, you don't want to get some people, you don't like those students, and you don't want those students to come into the seminar, and you just start them and say, look, you are not able to participate because you don't have those qualifications, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And those qualifications may vary from one time to another.
Yeah.
For example, if I have set a rule that the students who will be undergraduate will not be allowed to participate in that seminar, and the postgraduate students are coming by following that particular rule, then from the next year I can also set a new benchmark that the postgraduate student will also not be able to come. So there is no certainty that there is any fixity to those regulations. Now the thing is that when the chairman of the drafting committee of the Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, actually framed it, there is a flip side of it also, because when he has framed it understanding the view that these laws, these regulations tend to change over time. Now, the question might come to our head that the problem would have been solved if Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar would have taken the first step in making that a fundamental right.
That's a question I was
Yes.
So, does the scenario of the seminar changes if your head or something says
Or
that,
who has actually started the seminar?
that
Similar kind of a thing.
everybody, this is a fundamental right of every student to join this,
Yes,
and they are supposed to. Does the seminar nature of seminar
yes.
changes?
But the thing is that what my understanding about, I cannot go into Dr. Ambedkar's head and understand the process, but what I can decipher from what Dr. Ambedkar has done in these years is that he must have thought that these terms and conditions, or these rules and regulations, these might change over time. For example, the date of the year of adult suffrage, the age of adult suffrage, which has come down from age 21 to age 18. So at that time it was 21. But the adulthood, the age, the maturity, the demography, or the age as a variable, as a demographic variable, it might change over time. So what Dr. Ambedkar might have thought at that time is that since these rules and regulations are not fixed and these might change over time, it's better to keep them under the purview of constitutional rights, which can be amended rather comparatively easily, rather than put into them within the box of fundamental rights, which are difficult to change over time.
Absolutely.
These are my thoughts. These are my afterthoughts, because what I can understand, or what I can observe, what I can decipher from what Dr. Ambedkar has done at that time, he might have thought that these rights are good, these rights are noble rights, but these rights, they tend to change over time. They tend to change over time. For example, I'm also giving you an example that the right to education, for example, the right to education, it has been just a minute. The right to education.